Approximately 265 miles from Las Vegas, Nevada, lies Great Basin National Park. Passing sagebrush as far as the eye can see reminded us why this state is often referred to as a sagebrush ocean. This vast expanse of landscape can provide many delightful surprises. Antelope run wild through the open range, and wildflowers flourish in unusual places. Great Basin National Park is Nevada's only national park. Established in 1986, it derives its name from the area's unusual drainage, as creeks, streams, and rivers find no outlet to either the Gulf of Mexico or the Pacific Ocean. At more than 13,000 feet, Wheeler Peak is the second highest point in the state of Nevada and is where our story begins. We joined up with Park Ranger Mark Kirtley to head up the mountain. Our destination was the only glacier that exists in Nevada. We started at the Glacier trailhead, which was already at 10,000 feet. The air was cool, brisk, and pungent with the smell of pine. As we made our way through the lush pine forest, we'd catch views every now and then of the basin below. Breathtakingly beautiful, they reminded us just how high up this mountain we were. And then we got an opportunity to catch a glimpse of a Clark's nutcracker, a crow-sized bird that is commonly found near the tree line of high mountain ranges throughout the West. It feeds on pine nuts, which it can hold in a special cheek pouch under its tongue, in addition to those it holds in its beak. Chipmunks also enjoy nibbling on pine nuts, making the search through pine cones a worthwhile endeavor.
As we climbed higher, we approached the Bristlecone Pine Forest. Bristlecone pines are the world's oldest living organisms. Having developed adaptations to survive in the harsh conditions of this elevation, many trees will live to be 4,000 to 5,000 years old. We stood in front of a tree and were dumbfounded to realize that in 1230 BC, the year of its birth, Ramses the Great was at the height of his power in ancient Egypt. With trunks that are gnarled and twisted by the elements, these trees are majestic and inspire admiration for their ability to withstand a wide variety of environmental conditions. With a renewed burst of energy, we continued along the trail. The temperature had dropped by almost 20 degrees and the winds began to pick up. The dirt path soon gave way to rocks and rubble. As we looked forward, the landscape was filled with boulders, sand, and gravel, all pieces of glacial debris serving as evidence and reminders of the power of glacial activity. Our destination was within sight. And what a sight it was! The first thing we noticed was the disappearance of any trees as we were now above the tree line. It made it all the more incredible to find dwarfed alpine flowers that managed to adapt to life at this high elevation. As we approached our glacial destination, the terrain took on the features of a lunar landscape. As we walked past the first patch of snow, we saw a bird feeding on wind-blown seeds trapped in the snowpack. We took the turn for our final ascent and put on our sunglasses to cut the glare from the high elevation sun. With every passing cloud, we were constantly aware of weather conditions, which at this height can change with little more than a moment's notice.
So now that we're at 11,000 feet, behind me you can see the only glacier in Nevada. It's the southernmost in the United States. A glacier is kind of like a snowfield, although it has deformable ice in it, so it's kind of like plastic ice. So that allows the glacier to be able to move down valley. That doesn't mean that the entire glacier as a whole changes position, but underneath it's kind of like a runway underneath that allows ice to move down, whereas at the foot of the glacier you still have meltage, but at the head of the glacier that's always being replenished by more snow. This glacier used to be a lot larger. In fact, all of the rock debris that you see around you is part of what's deposited by the glacier when it was actually bigger.
We took in the scenery and marveled at this leftover piece of the Ice Age. Although a small remnant, it calls to mind the powerful glaciers that capped this mountain range only a few thousand years ago. We'd come at the end of summer because at this elevation, seasons are short, and for much of the year, this area is inaccessible. In just another month or so, this entire mountain range will be covered with snow and ice, which in turn will replenish the ice pack of the glacier, continuing the cycle of nature.